Okay, so you know how like most of us just toss our trash in the bin and kind of forget about it?
Yeah.
Well, Tom Szaky, he really thinks about it.
He does.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what led him to found TerraCycle, this global recycling revolution.
Yeah. I'd say revolution is a good word for it.
Yeah. And we're diving deep into their world today using some excerpts from Szaky's interview on the Good Business Podcast.
Cool. Sounds fascinating.
It is.
I mean, he really sees potential where the rest of us just see, like, garbage.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
I think one of the things that's so interesting is that, his family fled communist Hungary.
Oh, wow.
After Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And they ended up in Canada.
Huge change.
Huge change.
Yeah. Talk about a contrast in economic systems.
Right.
I mean,
completely different.
Yeah, that must have really shaped how he viewed the world.
Yeah, and business.
Yeah. I mean, seeing those two different systems.
He even talks about how when he was a kid, they couldn't just like go to a store and buy whatever they wanted.
Interesting.
It was a completely different experience.
Yeah.
And so, that stuck with him, even as he went on to study economics here in the U.S.
Yeah, but then he realizes...
Like, wait a minute.
This whole profit,
this isn't
above all else thing.
This isn't me.
This isn't going to work for me.
Yeah, I want to make a business that is good for the planet.
Right, right.
And good for society.
Yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that balance,
Yeah.
Can you really make money and do good at the same time?
Right.
He seems to have really found a way to do that.
He did. And he saw that opportunity in waste management, which is an industry that, most people don't think about at all.
Not at all.
But it's massive.
Yeah, and it's so essential.
Yeah, it's essential, but also not known for innovation.
Right. It's like, we just want it to disappear.
We don't care what happens to it.
We don't want to know.
We just want it gone.
Yeah.
Classic out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, and he saw that as an opportunity.
Yeah, smart.
And this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Worm poop.
What worm poop?
The origin story of TerraCycle involves worm poop.
All right. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Szaky was inspired by his friends who were using worm castings.
Okay.
So worm poop, essentially.
Okay.
To fertilize their plants.
Interesting.
Right.
So he's like looking at what other people would consider waste and he's seeing the value in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so TerraCycle starts out selling liquid worm poop fertilizer.
Okay.
Packaged in used soda bottles.
All right.
It was actually pretty successful.
Okay.
But then he realizes, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
This product-focused approach.
Yeah.
This is not going to work.
It's limiting, right?
I tackled the bigger problem.
Yeah, you get so focused on your one product
and
you can't see the bigger picture.
And this is a pivotal moment for TerraCycle.
Okay.
He realizes he has to flip the script.
Okay. So instead of making a product and then finding the waste to put in it or whatever to use,
right,
he needs to start with the waste.
Okay.
What is the waste?
Make the waste the hero.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Make the waste the hero and then go from there.
So then the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. But this wasn't an easy transition.
Oh, I'm sure.
This is where there was some shakeups in the management team and pushback from investors.
Of course, because it's a very radical.
Yeah. They're like, what are you doing?
We're changing everything.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
But he stuck to his vision.
Good for him.
So how do they approach this whole waste as the hero model?
Yeah. How does that work?
Well, they do it in three main ways.
Okay.
First, there's reuse.
Okay.
That's for things like toys, electronics, clothing.
Yeah.
Stuff that can be given a second life.
Yeah, just reuse it.
Just reuse it.
That's the most effective waste reduction technique.
Keeps it out of the landfill.
Yeah.
Then there's upcycling.
Okay.
This is where things get really creative.
Yeah.
They take juice pouches and turn them into backpacks.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
So they're taking something that people see as like trash and making it into something that's desirable.
That's really cool and functional.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's the really difficult to recycle materials.
Okay.
They actually use science to break it down and separate it.
Oh, wow.
So this is how they're dealing with things like cigarette butts and toothpaste tubes.
Oh, yeah.
Which you can't recycle conventionally.
Yeah, those are really tricky.
Yeah. And to really understand how this works in practice, let's look at their partnership with Colgate.
Okay.
In Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
This is a great example of how their model works.
Cool. So what's the deal with this Colgate partnership?
Well, it's interesting because, toothbrushes and toothpaste tubes, they're really hard to recycle.
They are.
So most of them just
end up in the trash. Exactly.
It's a problem. And so what Colgate does is they actually fund the entire recycling process.
Oh, wow. So they're really committed.
Yeah.
That's great.
So they cover the cost of collecting the toothbrushes and the tubes and shipping them to TerraCycle.
Okay.
And even the scientific process of breaking them down and repurposing them.
So that's a great example of how TerraCycle's model works, right? They partner with the brands to deal with that stuff that nobody else wants to deal with.
Right. And it wouldn't make sense financially.
Right, exactly.
For a normal recycler to do this.
Yeah.
But because Colgate's funding it,
they can make it happen.
They can make it happen.
That's cool.
And get this.
Why?
They're using the recycled materials to make playgrounds for schools.
Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool.
So it's really coming full circle.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that.
It's not just about making the waste disappear. It's like...
it's about turning it into something good.
Yeah, something valuable.
Yeah, and something that benefits the community.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
So they have this whole team of scientists.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
At their lab in New Jersey.
Okay.
And they work with all these, like, industry partners.
Yeah. So they're really, like, at the cutting edge of this.
Yeah, they're figuring out how to recycle this stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't do it alone.
Yeah.
Right? They're working with these partners.
That makes sense.
And so it's not just about finding the solution. It's about, you know, they work with these brands to make sure that it's impactful and engaging.
So, like, getting people excited about it?
Yes. They might partner with retailers.
Okay.
They might run contests.
Oh, cool.
You know, educational campaigns.
Yeah, you got to get people involved.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So how big is TerraCycle?
I mean, they're global, right?
They're global.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Okay.
21 countries.
Wow.
And they're always expanding.
Jeez.
And get this, 1 million pounds of hard-to-recycle waste.
A week?
Every week.
That is a lot of waste.
1 million pounds.
That's incredible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that shows you how much this is needed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much waste out there.
But they're a for-profit company.
Yeah, and some people might think that that's weird, right?
How can you be for-profit?
Yeah.
And be good for the planet?
Like, isn't that a conflict of interest?
Right. But he's very clear that they're a social for-profit.
Okay.
Their main goal is to reinvest their profits.
Into more solutions.
Into more solutions, yeah.
Yeah.
Not shareholder returns.
Yeah. So they're really using business as a force for good.
Exactly. And he's also realistic.
Oh, okay.
About the challenges facing recycling globally.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are a ton of challenges.
Yeah, what are some of those?
Well, like the price of oil fluctuates, and then you've got restrictions on imports, like China's ban on certain plastics.
Right.
And then the quality of recyclable waste is actually decreasing.
Right. It's getting harder and harder to recycle stuff.
Yeah. And those are all things that are impacting the entire industry.
Yeah. So, you know, we may want to recycle, but there are all these other things.
All these other factors at play.
That we don't think about.
Yeah.
But TerraCycle's funding model actually helps them in that.
Ah, okay. How so?
Because they're funded by brands.
Yeah.
They're not as vulnerable.
To those market forces.
To the market forces.
Oh, that's really smart.
So they can focus on these materials that would just end up in the landfill otherwise.
Because it's not cost effective to recycle them the normal way.
So, you know, he had some advice for companies that are looking to improve their sustainability.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to hear that.
And what he said was, don't just rely on goodwill.
Okay.
You have to make a business case. You have to show how sustainability can actually benefit the bottom line.
Oh, that's such good advice.
Right.
Yeah, because then...
it can't just be...
it's not just like a nice to have...
it's a feel-good thing.
Right. It's actually good for business.
Yeah.
So that's a win-win.
Exactly. So what about the future?
Yeah, what's next for TerraCycle?
Well, he mentioned this new platform they're launching called Loop.
Loop.
And it's all about replacing single-use products with...
reusable stuff?
Durable, refillable alternatives.
Okay, so kind of like the milkman model?
Yes.
But for everything?
But for everything.
That's cool.
So instead of buying something in a disposable package, you get it in this durable container.
Yeah.
And then you send it back.
To get refilled?
To get cleaned and refilled.
Wow, that's amazing.
So they're really pushing for this idea of a circular economy.
Right, where there is no waste.
Where waste is designed out.
Yeah.
So it's like he's coming at this problem from both ends.
Totally.
Like, how do we deal with the existing waste?
Yeah.
But also, how do we prevent waste in the first place?
Yeah, prevent it from even happening.
Yeah.
Wow, he's thinking big.
So before we wrap up,
I
want to hear what resonated with you the most.
From his story, it's just really inspiring, you know, to see somebody tackling such a huge problem with so much passion and creativity.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be afraid of anything.
No, he seems fearless.
Yeah, and it's not just about these big initiatives, you know.
Yeah.
They also empower individuals and communities to get involved.
Yeah, how so?
Well, they have these programs where you can collect certain types of waste, like candy wrappers.
Oh, cool.
Or pens.
Okay.
And send them in.
Yeah.
and you earn points.
Okay.
And then you can redeem those points for donations to like schools or charities.
Yeah.
You probably have even participated in one of these programs without even realizing it.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I've definitely seen those boxes around.
Yeah, they're really good at partnering with like
local businesses.
Yeah, local organizations.
They have community groups.
To make it really easy to get involved.
So what can we as like everyday people do to,
be part of the solution?
Yeah.
I think what TerraCycle shows us is that we have to rethink our relationship.
Our relationship with waste.
With waste.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just something to throw away.
Yeah. Can we see it as a resource?
Right. A resource, yeah.
Like Szaky said, waste is just a resource in the wrong place.
I like that.
Yeah. It's a good quote.
And also they demonstrate the power of collaboration.
Yeah. Working together.
Yeah. They're partnering with everybody.
Brands, retailers.
Even competitors.
That's interesting.
They don't care.
As long as it gets done right.
They just want to solve this problem.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think ultimately it's a call to action.
Yeah. You can't just hear this and be like, oh, that's nice.
We have to do something.
Yeah. What can we do?
So here's our final thought for you.
Okay.
What seemingly unrecyclable item in your life could be reimagined?
Ooh.
What if that empty chip bag or that broken toy wasn't the end of the story, but the beginning of something new and valuable?
Right. I love that.
So what will you choose to reimagine?
That's a great question.